The first method was to add 0 pairs to work with integers. The second method could be to subtract, means to add the opposite. All right, so subtract means to add the opposite. Right, so let's look at this. If we have a calculation like 4 minus 2, we are going to follow the method that subtract means to add the opposite of -2, and that would be +2. So in other words, to just make it not this messy, could be 4 added 2. And if we do that with our discs, we would see if we have 4 blue discs, which represents our positive, and we add another 2 positives, we get the answer of 6 blue discs, which are positive. Right, so let's do another one by adding the opposite. If we have 7 minus 9, this 9 is actually a positive 9. So what are we going to do? We're going to say to subtract means to add the opposite. So we're going to add the opposite of +9, which is -9. So let's do this. We're going to have 7 positive discs. Let's say 7 like that. And then we need to add 9 negative discs. Right, but now, what now? We can make our 0 pairs, because what is the situation? We need to make 0 pairs, because that means it's a 0, a plus and a minus. +1 and -1 gives you 0. So if we start adding these, or removing the 0 pairs, making the 0 pairs, we will see that we are going to end up with 2 red ones left. So we are left with 2 negative ones. Okay, so if we just look at our sum again, we started out with 7 minus 9, and we said to subtract means to add the opposite, and then we get our answer -2. Right, let's do another one just to end it off with. Sorry. If we subtract means to add the opposite. So let's say 6 minus 8. We can also say 6 negative 8. So if we subtract, we are going to add the opposite, which is -8. So 6 plus -8 will give you 6 blue discs. Start off with that. Messy on my table. 6 blue discs, and then we are going to introduce or add 8 negative discs. Like that. And now we are going to make 0 pairs, and we know that making a 0 pair is equal to 0, so we can make our 0 pairs like this. and we read what is left there on our board, and that is 2 red discs. Right, so just another way of doing subtraction with negative numbers. Right, what is also important to remember is that a positive number added to a positive number will give you a positive number, right? So that is a rule. A positive number plus another positive number will give you a positive number, right? Then we have a negative number plus another negative number gives you a negative answer, right? That is when we add. A negative number plus another negative number will give you a negative answer. And then adding a negative number, that's another rule, adding a negative number, say for instance like this, is the same as subtracting, that's what we just did, subtracting the inverse or the additive inverse. So this will be 7 minus 5, and that would give you 2. And that's a positive answer. So adding a negative number is the same as subtracting its additive inverse. So then you do not have a rule to say it will always be positive or negative. So that is when we add. When we subtract, we have a rule. A positive number minus a smaller negative number gives you a positive answer. A smaller positive number minus a larger positive number gives you a negative answer. And then subtracting a negative number is the same, say for instance like that, is the same as adding that number's inverse. And that gives you a negative number. Subtracting is the same as adding the inverse. Right. Those are a few rules. So let's move away from our whiteboard and let's open up our Oxford Head Start books on page 302. Here's page 302. There's the commutative property and the associative property that you need to go through, and you can do all these numbers or calculations here, and then we are going to solve a few word problems. Because why do we need to know about negative numbers? We need to know about them because of we are using temperatures that's negative, for instance, in our syllabus in math. And then we also have money that we owe or that we borrow, which will also be negative because we do not have them. All right. So what you can do for your own homework is to go through this page here and do this activity 1 on page 302. And then you can also do the problem solving on page 303 for your own homework. There's also the previous pages. The integers starts on page 292 and it goes on to page 304 with a revision exercise. And what would be very good is if you do the revision exercise. I don't know if you have the answer book, the teacher's guide. If you do not have it, I can just upload the answers for you on VC Learn. So just let me know. Do you have the teacher's guide? Or don't you have that? Okay. I think what we should do is we can just quickly work out. I think this is going to take us just 10 minutes. So I'm going to also write it up and just show you the answers. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Let's say 10 minutes, yes, to quickly do this and check then if we do agree on the answers. So let's do this revision exercise on page 304. And then in 10 minutes time, I will put up the answers for you to quickly just mark your work. Just to end off this lesson so that you can also check your own understanding of integers. So I'm going to also do it quickly on a notepad, and then I will just show you the answers. All right, so let's just quickly do this. 10 minutes, so let's say 14:30, I'm going to just quickly put up the answers. How's it going with your working out? Are you still busy? Great, Sabrina Lee. Well done. Almost Maxine. Well done. Great, Simone. Isn't it nice to do this again? It's actually a challenge to try and just work it out without like really using a calculator or something. Yes, it makes me miss school, Sabrina Lee. Yes, very nice. I loved to work out these sums. So we should actually do more of this. Right, Maxine is done and Sabrina Lee is done. Siobhan, are you? Yeah, I haven't heard anything from you or seen you participate or say anything, or let me just check. Maybe. Oh, yes, Siobhan greeted me. Philomena, you greeted me. No, sorry, Siobhan, you answered the question as well. Sorry. And you told me that Elri is having load shedding. Sorry. Onkarabile, you are also on this session. So are you almost done? And Wilhelmina, are you almost done? And Siobhan. Oops, I could have stopped the recording.